lot tonight when we're talking with young people about being in business and being very successful at it. So tell us challenges and how do you deal with them?
First of all, let me just say that taking the risk to start in business, you need a lot of faith combined with a lot of passion and endurance, because there were many times.
That's already a big challenge for some people.
Yeah. So if you have that fear factor, if you're a procrastinator, you really want to think, do I really want to start my own business? Okay. You know, and then you have to go up against the fact that you have to invest all your savings, you know, pushing into your business before you see the first thing come out. And it's like a seed, so you plant it and you hope that it produces a beautiful orchid, which it will do.
And, Dario, there is no paycheck at the end of the week that you can almost expect. You know, if you don't do it, it doesn't get done. Yeah. So, I mean, it's all on you. It's you about the boss, you about going to get the business, you about doing the work, motivating your staff, and so on. How has that worked for you?
Well, it's very hard because, like, in my type of field, like, I like to be on site. And when I'm on site, but after I finish up doing whatever I have to do, I have to come back to the office and prepare invoices, check emails, do quotes, and write up time sheets and so forth. So I pretty much learned the office side of it, going into business, as well as the on-site side of it. So like, I see myself working almost 24/7. The only time I get to go to sleep, and that's like a couple hours a day.
Boy, that's pretty tough. You're in a very sensitive business. I mean, one that has a kind of, it's time sensitive, day sensitive. You know, after 2 or 3 days, the cake is really no good. So you've got to be very specific and technical about how you deal with it. How do you deal with that?
Well, everything that I put out is fresh. Everything is made to order. You don't have to worry about getting a cake that's, like you say, 2 or 3 days old. Sometimes, like, we do full catering also. So sometimes you'll have a weekend whereas you get 2 hours sleep. Sometimes you bake 24 hours a day. So it's really up to the person. If you really want it, you have to do what it takes.
I haven't talked about this, and you could start off and you could join in, friends, you know, and that is about getting paid. You know, every business out there has some level of accounts receivables. People are not able to pay for whatever reason or simply don't pay. So how do you deal with the challenge of getting paid? Because at the end of the day, I mean, that's why we're in business. You know?
But you have to be on top of it for one. You have to make sure once you agree to terms with, okay, I'm going to a school and we say this is the cost, you have to be on top of it. But also, in order to determine your price, you really have to show people value first.
Yeah.
And for me, getting into the whole wealth finance area for youth, you know, that was new to the Bahamas. So of course, my strategy was, you know, you come in, you bring your child in for a free workshop. And once your child comes back and says, oh, I had fun, but I learned about this and this about money, you know, parents realize, hey, this is something that's valuable, I'm going to send my child for a full program. So that really was my strategy. And once you do that, you know, just be on top of persons who agree to pay. And that can be a full-time job as well, because we know how the economy can get.
I understand. Get yourself out there. I know, hey, boy, where's that cake come from? Man, listen, call Jamil, you know, and da-da-da. But how do you get yourself out? I'm sure that this is also a very big challenge for you all. You've got to, in addition to word of mouth, and you don't know how fast that travels, you got to put yourself out there.
Certainly, and I would just like to add that the first year of business, I did so much work pro bono, so there was no paycheck. It was just providing that value and also taking advantage of the free media networks. We're all on Facebook. I started a blog recently. You can check that out as well. Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, putting your videos out there, showing what you do, talking about it, speaking to several groups, going to high school, school fairs, all of those things pretty much helps us to get the names out there.
And you say, you know, it's all about you, but I mean, you gotta have some downtime, otherwise you burn out. There is no one to lean back on, so if you know, playing basketball, you sprain an ankle, that means you can't be out there. What do you do to preserve yourself?
Well, right now, I have like 7 employees, and I'm training all of them in the art of commerce and in striping. I also have a technician from the UK that specializes in striping of
international, man. Go get him.
He's in on the contract to train me and my guys in thermoplastic striping.
So you're kind of multiplying yourself so that everything doesn't have to depend on you. I presume, hopefully, you're doing the same thing. You're calling on everybody you can, because come on, man.
Yeah, well, I have I have 4 part-time workers, and right now we're trying to deal with doing some expansion early next year. And what it would entail is everyone would be able to do everyone else's job.
Each of you work somewhere else and then you decide to go on your own. You know that the people you're training is going to one day move on their own. How do you protect, say, trade secrets?
Well, let's just say I always say I can't do it like them and they can't do it like me. I don't feel threatened or intimidated by competition because business is so big, you can go and get clients from anywhere in the world. So there are enough clients, if you're a global thinker, to get out there and reach someone else. So I'm training persons, again, to multiply and mentor, because I think succession planning is what the country really lacks.
Words to the wise, so to speak. Person listening tonight, young person, 12, 15, 18, 22, hey, wait, I can do that. I've got a passion for this. I can do this excellently. How do I get going? What do I do? Where do I go?
Well, it has to come from within. Whatever you like to do, whatever you feel that you are best at, keep working at that, pushing yourself, striving to be whatever, strive to be what the biggest or the best that you possibly could be in that area, and trust me, no one can stop you.
And you got to multiply yourself in a variety of ways. For instance, you do seminars and you do workshops, you do boot camps, but you're also an author.
Yeah.
So you put out other things. I mean, you start to be as wide and as corporate and as expansive as you possibly can. The ideas just keep coming.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm working on a second book now, so hopefully that'll be out pretty soon. But you know, you have to be able to grow. The last thing you want is a one-man, one-woman business. So for me, my job of that succession planning is really to teach other young persons to teach the curriculum.
Sure.
You don't necessarily have to be in finance. You just have to have a passion of working with you and making sure that knowing that you want the next generation to be more knowledgeable, responsible when it comes to money. And that's how I use that succession planning.
Final words.
Put God first, love people, use money, not the other way around. Take the limits off, think big, and just think global.